officer, not even a vampire. Get with it, people.
America's Most Wanted, 400 captured. A special episode tomorrow.
The symbol is explained. The knowledge preserved in rituals through the centuries has been confirmed. Beyond the Dogon knowledge of the Dark Star, the symbols reveal more information about the celestial universe. They correctly place the Earth and our solar system within the Milky Way, and state correctly that the massive cluster of stars is far more distant than the planets. The understanding of astronomical movements led the Dogon to investigate the human anatomy. They discovered the circulation of blood in the body long before it was discovered by the English physician William Harvey in the 17th century. These symbols and the knowledge they hold are the legacy of the mysterious Numos, the messengers from the Dark Star. Many cultures claim their knowledge was given them by godlike beings descended from the heavens. But the Dogons insist their gods descended from one star in particular, which they're able to identify and describe in detail. Does other evidence exist of this encounter between gods and men? In 1937, French anthropologists shot this rare film of the Dogon. They found the people in a frenzy of preparation for a huge ceremony. The scientists were told the funeral of an important man would soon take place. But all this was an elaborate deception designed to protect their secret knowledge. The anthropologists counted themselves fortunate to have the opportunity to observe the making of ritual masks representing the panoply of Dogon spirits.
A growing number of people say they've been abducted by aliens. Tonight, we listen to their stories. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Alex. Are these tales true, or do they spring from childhood traumas? We take a look here on Box 29.
Sunday, March 3rd, the producers of Alien Autopsy present a television event. Statues weep, the sun pulses. Are they miracles or scientific phenomena? This video does show that something supernatural happened. Witness the astonishing, never-before-seen video. Then decide for yourself.
My heart started racing and I just said, wow, it looks like Jesus.
Touched by an Angel's Roma Downey hosts Miracles and Visions, Fact or Fiction, a television event. Sunday at Nust, Navin Jibalashna, Nishkifur Havas Слухаем свои одноморозные обстоятельства.
Wow.
Yes, that was me. I saw shaking with bravery, and the government issued rifle on my back. I'm sorry, I could not reach what you deserved, my relative. They were not my tears. I have a reservoir inside. They will be cried by my sons, my daughters, if I can't learn how to turn tears to stone. Yes, that was me, standing at the back door, the house in the alley, with fresh corn and bread for the neighbors. I did not foresee the flood of blood. I'll never forget when friendship would return to kill the babies. Yes, that was me, whirling on the dance floor. We made such a racket with all that joy. I love the horn and that silly music. I did not realize the terrible dance, the staccato of bullets. Yes, I smelled the burning grease of corpses, and like a fool, I expected we might rise up and jam the artillery and then put hands on dictators. We had to keep going. We had to keep going. We had to keep going.
日本語バージョンアップ NEC
お風呂でのクレンジング、本当に落ちてる？落ちない口紅をしっかり落として残さない。お風呂で差がつくポンズのウォッシャブル。なんじゃこりゃー！チントメスト。
泡で漂白まな板の隅々もつけ置きいらず。
チントメスト。お見事。南の島の UCC は真っ赤なコーヒーが実る楽園です。香りの向こうに笑顔が見える UCC レギュラーコーヒー。アロハ。
君看護暇にやらしいな。
社内一だと思いますよ。
社会条例やん。帰りやからここは違うんや。
僕は社内にだ。上の缶コーヒー UCC スーパー。
The giant ritual which the anthropologist witnessed was not a funeral at all. It was the Siggi. Occurring every 60 years, the Siggi is the most important ceremony in Dogon life. The Siggy is an event relating directly to the sacred star. The Siggy marks the completion of an orbit, the time when Earth, the giant Sirius, and the sacred star are directly aligned, the moment when the Dogon and their star are closest. For Western science to determine the orbit of the Dogon star required calculations based on decades of astronomical observations. Minute shifts in the position of the giant Sirius led astronomers to suspect the gravitational influence of an unseen companion. When computer studies of the data were complete, they verified that a small star orbited Sirius every 60 years, exactly as the Dogon claimed.
The first duty of everybody in life is to realize that they're selfish, they're self-centered, they're not very good. I think that's really important. I always tried to raise my kids to understand that they're not that terrific. And that not being that terrific, that's okay, because most people who say they are terrific, they're not so fucking terrific either, and there's nothing wrong with being not so terrific, you know? In fact, that's what the whole ball game is about. It's about being not so terrific and accepting.
Oh, we always did a lot of sledding in the winter, both with sleds and homemade toboggans made out of roofing tins. The hills on 2nd Avenue Northwest behind the big mansion were great. The police department even put up signs so cars would stop and look for sledders. Once I came down the hill behind the mansion, through the alley and down to 10th Street to turn onto 2nd Avenue Northwest. And I got bruised up because I hit a fire hydrant. Another time, I hit a power pole. I survived though. We would play a lot in the street hockey and hockey on frozen ponds. I was always the goalie since I was a terrible skater. Also, I skated at Gibson Park, but clumsy me never did very well. In the summer, we would go down to what is now West Kiwanis Park, puff weeds. Light those weeds and puff them. Oh, it was terrible. Also, I used to buy cigarettes, hide them in the lilac bushes. And when it rained, they got awful soggy, but I eventually would dry them out. I bought cheapies, mostly Wings or Airlines, sometimes Lucky Old Gold, Chesterfield, Paul Morris. Once I accidentally caught a telephone pole on fire. No one knew it was me, and I kept my mouth shut.
No doubt you have been reading reports of the so-called flying saucers seen over America. As a leading British scientist, what's your opinion of it? Well, I must say that in my opinion, it must be due to mass hysteria. I know you've got to be very careful nowadays. What with war, atom bombs, people feeling rather tired, and excitement of that kind, rockets and so on. People like to believe things, and don't forget this. Everybody likes to say, I saw it. They think it's rather clever. Do you think it might be an optical illusion? No, I don't. I don't think. Do you think there's any chance at all that these flying saucers might be man-made objects of some kind? I think it's very unlikely. There is just the rather wild chance of somebody experimenting with a new kind of radar functioning device. You will remember the radar camouflage which we used in the war, made of metallized paper. Well, if if you imagine a rocket 200 miles high, charged in sulfur or some kind of metal, it just might be an experiment. But I don't believe it. In fact, it's mass hysteria. I always remember going to a futuristic film, and I found that if I say some of that stuff in blue light, everybody else saw it too, although I saw absolutely nothing. In other words, you really don't expect to see a flying saucer come down to Piccadilly Circus here in London, eh? No, I wish as good as I could, I'm sure. Well, yeah, lots of quite surprised. I should be delighted. How's that? The only place I've been about so far is in Brighton. And of course, Brighton, well, it's such a charming place, you might see almost anything there. And another man, by the way, said that he saw one of them flying so high that he didn't know whether it was a house, an airplane, or probably a rocket. We don't have a very much to talk about over here. There's been a blending. Without name, I didn't know what I was here.
Way down in the Badlands I was born. And every once in a while, Daddy's daddy, he was from Norway. He would come down and we always had to make sure that he had pickled pig soup for him. That's the only thing I remember for him. He had to have pickled pig soup. I skipped first grade because we lived out in the country and there was no other first graders. My dad would walk one way and teach one school, and Mom would walk the other way and teach the other school. And there was no first graders, so I just skipped out and went to the second grade. So when they needed someone to take care of Jimmy, when they kept me out of school, because I missed a year and they wanted Margie to catch up to me. I remember a girl named Laura. Her father was a millionaire, so they wouldn't let me be valedictorian because he wanted her to be valedictorian, so they took it away from me and gave it to her. She was a waitress up in Outlook one time, and I hated it. I hate that. They needed a part-time helper, secretary, so I went and applied for that job, and so I married my boss. And every once in a while, Daddy's daddy, he was from Norway. My dad also had to come down, I always had to make sure that some mom and sisters had to move up to Canada where they had blue laws and restriction on gambling and trying to change the tide of Way down in the Badlands I was born. Way down in the Badlands I was born. way down in the Badlands. Way down in the Badlands. I was born. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. Hate that. Canada, where they have blue laws, and restriction on gambling, restriction on gambling, change the tide, it's good for his credit because we lived out in the country, and there was no other first graders. My dad would walk one way and teach first grade because we lived out in the country, and there were no other first graders, and there was no first graders. I just got it, so when they needed someone to take me to Jimmy, I always had to make sure that they kept me out of school. So I used to do and wanted Margie to catch up to me. They kept me out of school because I used to do and they wanted Margie to catch up to me. I hate that. They needed a part-time helper. The waitress from Outlook one time, and I hated it. So I married my boss. And every once in a while, Daddy's dad, he was from Norwegian, but he'd come down and I always had to make sure that we had pickled pig soup. I remember everything I remember all. We had to have a pickled pig father was a millionaire, so we wouldn't let me do vegetarian because they wanted to hear me vegetarian. Canada, where they have blue laws and they live in all long restriction and families getting up homes and realize things are tied to them to the room. There's nothing other than we're there to fix that. And you're like, I don't know anything that's no peace and it's wicked. And they live in as one. And I look you to do it. And every once in a while, while I was young, he was from Norway, Norwegian, but he'd come down and I always had to make sure that we had pickled pig soup for him. It's the only thing I remember about him. We'd have to have a thing about him and anything that's no peace and it's wicked. And they live in as one. And I look you to do it. Hello, Sue. Glad to see you. Well, I was not living. I'll take any physical pain if I could have my dummy back.
You, as you know yourself, are not the final term of your being. And you must die to that one way or another. In giving of yourself to something or in being annihilated, actually, physically. To return, you might say, or to recognize. Life is always on the edge of death, always. And one should lack fear.
Being is not the opposite of annihilation. We have an idea of being, that it is the opposite of not being. These ideas are no more solid than ideas of right and left. Look at a pen. Can we remove totally its right-hand side? If we use a knife and cut away half the pen, the part that remains still has a right-hand side. Political parties of the right and the left are immortal. They cannot be removed. Nothing is born, nothing dies. A French scientist, whose name is Lavoisier, declared, rien ne se crée, rien ne se perd. Nothing is born, nothing dies. Although he did not practice as a Buddhist, but as a scientist, he found the same truth the Buddha discovered. Our true nature is the nature of no birth and no death. Only when we touch our true nature can we transcend the fear of non-being. Passed away does not mean.
When you practice like that, something wonderful happens. We stop the thinking. And this is a miracle already. Because in our daily life we think too much. And because we think too much, we are not truly ourselves. Our body may be here, but our mind may be elsewhere. In the past, in the future, and therefore when you breathe in and out and become aware of your in-breath and out-breath, you stop the thinking and you begin to be where your body is. Our body and our mind are very often separated from each other. And if we practice breathing in and out with some concentration, we attain what we call the oneness of body and mind. Your mind and your body are reunified. And you begin to be there, truly yourself. And this is the first fruit of your practice. And it needs you to breathe in and out consciously, being aware of your in-breath and your out-breath. When you are not there, when you are not really there, you cannot see things very clearly and deeply. You miss everything.